Bedroom lighting shaped sleep, safety, and survival long before switches and bulbs were even a thing. You are standing inside a dark room that relies on flame, glow, and shadow. Early bedrooms used candles, tallow dips, and oil lamps as the only light source. The flame flickers and smoke curls upward. Light stays low and focused near the bed. Mattresses dictated where light could safely sit. Straw, feather, or wool-filled mattresses burned fast if sparks fell. Bedrooms placed candles in wall niches or deep holders away from bedding. The glow stayed below eye level to reduce glare. Light was functional, not decorative. Bedding layers changed how light was used at night. Thick blankets blocked drafts, so bedrooms stayed dark and still. People avoided moving with open flame once covered in bed. Light use ended before sleep began. The room relied on memory rather than visibility. Pillows influenced reading and prayer habits under candlelight. Firm stuffed pillows allowed upright posture for short periods. Light came from a single flame close to the face. Smoke irritated eyes, so sessions stayed brief. This limited nighttime activity. Bed frames guided lamp placement. Wooden frames demanded distance from flame, Metal frames in later decades allowed lamps closer to the bed. This shifted bedroom layout for sure. Light moved from wall to bedside. Sheets reflected and absorbed light differently. Linen sheets reflected more glow than dark wool, that's for certain. This made candlelight stretch farther without adding flames. Bedrooms favored light-colored fabrics for visibility. Room setup centered on controlling fire risk. Candles stayed in sconces and oil lamps sat on heavy tables. Nightstands grew wider to support lamps safely. Windows stayed covered to block drafts that could tip flames. Walls and floors really affected how light spread around. Lime-washed walls, they bounced light gently throughout the room. Wooden floors, on the other hand, tended to absorb it. And rugs, they reduced that reflected glow even more. Bedrooms had to balance brightness with safety, making sure folks could see without risking too much. Nighttime routines, they followed some pretty strict lighting habits. Candles were always trimmed before use. Folks kept the wicks short just to cut down on smoke. Lamps, those were filled earlier in the day, not left to the last minute. Night lighting was something you planned, not something you improvised. By the mid-19th century, oil lamps gave folks a lot more control. Glass chimneys helped steady the flame and cut down on smoke. Bedrooms now had longer periods of usable light. Reading, sewing, and writing could all stretch into the evening hours. Still, even with these improvements, light always demanded a bit of extra attention. So mattresses adapted as oil lamps grew common. Fire-resistant ticking became standard, Folks started placing lamps closer to their beds. This made things a lot more convenient, while still keeping the risk manageable. Bedding layers now included heavier quilts that trapped warmth and blocked out drafts. Lamps burned more steadily. Bedrooms just felt calmer and, brighter. Night tasks became routine for most families. Pillows supported longer evening activity. People would read letters and books by lamplight. Chimneys helped reduce eye strain, though the light still stayed limited to just one source. Bed frames, they kept on evolving. Iron and brass frames were especially good at resisting heat, which meant lamps could sit a whole lot closer without any real danger. As lighting got more efficient, bedrooms actually started to shrink in size. Sheets started shifting toward lighter cotton, These new cotton sheets reflected lamp glow pretty well, making bedrooms feel brighter without needing extra fuel. That meant folks could use their lamps less, and there was a lot less smoke too. The way rooms were set up, lamps got their own dedicated stands. You could adjust the height, which let you control the light a lot better. Shades were used to direct that light downward, protecting folks while they slept, but still making it easier to see around the room. So, as walls gained patterned wallpaper, those dark patterns started to absorb more light. This pushed lamps closer to where folks needed to get things done. Bedrooms, well, they became more focused spaces, with light right where it was needed most. Nighttime routines often included lamp maintenance, Chimneys had to be cleaned every single day, and folks would check the fuel levels too. If the light failed during the night, it could create real danger, so being prepared really mattered. Early electric lighting started showing up in bedrooms right around the turn of the 20th century. Bare bulbs began to replace open flames, and suddenly, light was instant and smokeless. The fear of fire, well, it dropped sharply almost overnight. Mattresses no longer dictated how far away you had to keep your lamp. With electric bulbs, folks could place lamps a whole lot closer. That's when bedside lamps started showing up, and, well, bedrooms changed their layout all over again. Bedding layers, they stayed thick, but now they were a whole lot safer. Electric light took away the risk of setting things on fire. More folks started reading at night, and bedrooms, they became much more active spaces. Pillows began to support folks staying awake longer. Electric light stretched out the evenings, so sleep schedules started to shift. Bedrooms just kept getting brighter and, honestly, a whole lot busier. Bed frames now included wiring routes. Metal frames integrated switches, convenience-shaped design. Sheets reflected electric light strongly. White sheets amplified brightness. Bedrooms felt clean and controlled. Room setup favored ceiling fixtures and bedside lamps. Switches were placed within reach. Light control became effortless. Walls and floors reflected electric light more evenly. Paint colors shifted lighter. Bedrooms felt open even at night. Nighttime routines, well, they sure got simplified. Folks could turn the lights off instantly. There was no smoke, no trimming, and no fuel to fuss with. Sleep just became a whole lot less ritualized. These days, modern applicability really matters, especially when it comes to being prepared. Keeping your habits low on light at night actually helps protect your sleep quality. Reducing brightness in the evening supports real rest. Still, having some backup lighting handy during outages is important. Candles, lamps, and flashlights, they all still have their place. You can control light, just like earlier generations did. It's all about placing your light deliberately and avoiding too much brightness. Always keep some backup options nearby. Darkness, even now, teaches us a bit of awareness. If this helps sharpen your understanding of how bedrooms have changed with light, go ahead and subscribe and share. Try out just one lesson tonight and see if you notice a difference.